I wanted to give you a little word about godly thinking. Now, you may have heard about this other thing called the power of positive thinking. Is there such a thing? Can we force ourselves to have positive, good, wholesome, encouraging, move forward type of thoughts? Some people think so. And there are some folks out there that have all kinds of lines of thinking about how you can encourage yourself through positive thinking, how you can enrich yourself. In fact, there's this little song called that goes something like, "You've got to accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative, don't mess with Mr. In Between." Have you heard that song? Is there any truth to this? Well, maybe. Let's see what the Bible has to say about this. There's a verse in Philippians 4:8 that says, "Whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there's any excellence, think on such things." Think about these things. Now, the word think here has the connotation of dwelling. It's not just a casual, I have a thought, a thought crossed my mind, but it's you're kind of sitting in the pocket, really meditating on something. The Greek word is logizomai. And if you notice, it kind of looks like logic, doesn't it? And it does share the root with the word logic. It means to evaluate, to consider, or to calculate. And according to one commentator, the verb form calls for habitual discipline of the mind to set all thoughts on these spiritual virtues. And the spiritual virtues here are whatever is true, whatever is honorable, the just, the pure, the lovely, the commendable, excellent things, things that are worthy of praise. We are to think about these things. Now, the question I have for you is, have you tried this? Have you tried just to do it on your own? Have you tried to have positive thoughts, to find the good things in life, the pure things in life, the honorable things in life, and to dwell on them, to meditate on them, to calculate, to evaluate, and to so turn your thoughts away from negative thinking? Have you tried it on your own? How has it worked? How has it worked? Well, I'd like to suggest that this list of things that we're to think about don't come about just because we force ourselves to think it. There's a verse in Romans 12:2 that says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect." And I've underlined here the list up above and the what is good and acceptable and perfect to denote that this process of being transformed is what brings to mind these good things that we're supposed to think about. Now, I want you to notice something here. In the English language, we can see it too. The admonition in the first verse up above to think is in the active tense. It's something you do. You are the actor of that thinking. But if you notice, the second verse puts it in passive. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Do not be conformed, but be transformed. Those are two passive constructs, even in the English language, and that's kind of how it appears in the Greek as well. And this is suggestive that, yes, you're still involved in this not conforming, being transformed process, but you are not the actor. Someone else is. In fact, in the prior verse, Romans 12:1, says, "Present yourselves to God as a living sacrifice." And the idea there is that if you make yourself available so that He can perform this work of transformation, this work of renewing your mind. And we see this in other places in the New Testament. For instance, in Ephesians, there's a verse that says, "Be filled with the Holy Spirit." Now, you're involved in the filling, but you're not the one performing the filling. You're not the one filling up your tank with the Holy Spirit. Somebody else is, and that's God. That's God's work in your life through the Holy Spirit. He brings the Spirit into your life so that personal relationship with the Spirit will result in a transformative work in your life. And part of that transformative work is the renewal of your mind so that you can have good discernment. You can have good thinking process. And that good thinking process shows you the will of God, including what is good and acceptable and perfect. In other words, what is true, what is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, excellent things, worthy of praise things. He brings those to mind. He gifts you with those things through the transformation of your mind. So positive thinking, yeah, it's godly thinking. Why? Because God is bringing it about in you. And godly thinking may be exactly what we need during this time of social unrest, of political upheaval, election coming, oh yes, and a pandemic. All these things can create negative thoughts and really bring us down. So what better thing to do than to turn ourselves over to God, to spend time with Him in prayer, in His Word, give ourselves as a sacrifice to Him that He may transform us, and yes, our thinking through this time so that we can focus on the good things, on the pure, on the holy, on the wholesome, ultimately on Him and His goodness. This is my prayer for you and for myself too.